What's up guys, Coasters RBStar 9 here, back to do another video. I'm doing this video in my car, as you can see, because there's a lot going on in my house right now with my roommates and stuff, and it's way too loud. I'll move my seat up. And I just didn't really want to mess with it in there, so I'm just going to do it in my car. Hopefully the setting isn't too weird or anything. I know that my channel is like predominantly horror. Since I started my channel, it's actually been like predominantly Halloween, but I mean horror in general. And I kind of wanted to stray away from that a little bit today, and I wanted to talk about a franchise that I know all of us know about, whether you know you've seen all the movies or not. It's one that everybody's familiar with, and it gets a lot of hate. And but I want to talk about it because I personally really dig all the movies and I dig the franchise, and want to talk about the Transformers franchise today. Now, 3 of the movies that I have here with me are DVD copies, and they're like older DVD copies. 2 of them are missing the slipcases. I have the Blu-rays at my mom's house, but I obviously don't have them with me because this was a spur-of-the-moment video. I didn't plan to do this. I figured, why the hell not? I'd been watching stuff for the new movie that's coming out in June, The Last Night. And just got me kind of excited, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So I'm gonna go from my least favorite to my most favorite. But having said that, I want to I want to reiterate that I do enjoy every movie in the series. I'm one of the few that thinks that none of them are bad, but I do not believe any of them are bad. And so I'm just gonna go from least favorite to favorite. First is Transformers. This is the 2007 first film. As I said, this one is one of the ones that's missing the slipcover, so it's just like this kind of, these cool shots on the art, but there's none of like the info or specs or anything like that. I really dig this movie. I went and saw this in theaters when it first came out, although I didn't catch it until like the second week that it had been out because it didn't really have much interest, believe it or not. And boy, was I wrong, because I went and saw the movie, and I really, really liked it. I think that Shia LaBeouf was like a perfect actor to play Sam Witwicky, a perfect balance of nerdy, smartass, and, wannabe hero. And I thought it worked really well. I think he's a good actor, and I think that he fit in the role. I'm not too fond of Megan Fox, but she did well in this movie. I liked her in the first Transformers movie. I liked her in Jennifer's Body as well. But overall, I'm not really a huge fan of her. This movie was pretty groundbreaking, just because the effects and the visuals and all that were awesome. A lot of people were worried about how taking those comic book characters and the old characters and whatnot, and putting them into a live action modern day movie was going to be like, and it worked out awesome. I think Megatron's a badass, although Optimus is my favorite, but overall I think it was a pretty solid movie. If I had to rate this movie, I would probably give this movie like a 3.5 out of 5. It's really good, but out of all of them, it's kind of the slowest, and I don't really I don't watch it as much as some of the other ones. Then my the second one is the second one. So this one I deem a little better than the first one, and a lot of people disagree with that. And that's totally fine. I get that. A lot of people say they cared too much about comedy and too much about, little nuances like that, and didn't focus as much on the story and whatnot. I tend to disagree, although I do feel like the twins were kind of unnecessary. I do feel like some of the plot points were kind of unnecessary. I thought that the story was actually pretty complicated. And not complicated, hard to understand, but I felt like there was just a bunch of pieces to the story. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. And that's why some people complained about the story, because they were like, well, the plot was way too convoluted. But personally, for me, I liked it. I think that the action and the effects are a huge step up from the first one as well. So that's why, another reason why this is regarded by me as better than the first one. Totally opinion, by the way. Totally. I know a lot of people hate the second one, so that's totally fine. But having said that, man, it's just I thought it was a really, really good action movie. I thought it was a really, really it was a spectacle. You know, it was really cool to watch, and it was really exciting. I didn't really care much for Megan Fox's performance in this. As I was saying, I liked her in the first one. In this one, she kind of just felt unnecessary and annoying almost. It's not that she did poorly. It was just like maybe her character just wasn't even needed in this movie. Like, I mean, it just, I don't know. I didn't like the fucking girl that transformed from a human into a Decepticon or vice versa. You know, that was weird. Never really saw that in the lore of this series. But, I mean, overall, I watched this movie more than I watched the first one. I find it to be way faster paced, and there's a lot more going on in it, and it looks better. I don't know. I find it as a better movie, but that's simply just because I enjoy it more, and I feel like Shia LaBeouf again did awesome. He's hilarious. So yeah, I'd give this movie like a 3.75 out of 5, maybe a 4 on its best day, but it is a tad better than the first one, in my opinion. It is a tad better. And I don't want you guys commenting and going, oh, it's not better than the first one. Again, your opinion, my opinion. We're all entitled to it. It's a beautiful thing. Now, my second favorite. So we had the bottom two, in my opinion. Now the top two. Number 2 in the series for me would be number 4, Age of Extinction. This is one of them that I do have the Blu-ray here at my house with me. This was tough. This was tough because, sorry, I'm like sitting weird in my car. I'm just trying to get comfortable. It's really weird. This one was tough for me because, personally, I think that this movie's badass. And when I first saw it, I was like, yo, that's the best one in the series. Like, that's my favorite one. And parts of me sometimes still lean that way. And, you know, I think that the action and the story and I don't know. I think that they're all like top notch in this movie. There were a couple things I didn't like though, and I think that's why I didn't make it my favorite. Although I do think that this is, like I said, it's number 2 for me, and it borders number 1. So it's definitely a really good movie in my opinion. Some of the acting I did not like. I did not like his daughter, Mark Wahlberg's daughter. I can't even remember what her name was, and I've seen this movie dozens of times. Yeah, I don't even know what her name was. I thought that Mark Wahlberg was awesome though. I thought Stanley Tucci was awesome. I thought that it was a overall pretty well acted movie, but I didn't care for the daughter or her boyfriend. They just kind of fucking annoyed me. Their story didn't feel necessary at all. I could have totally done without them in this movie. I'm gonna take the slipcover off. The action in this movie is awesome. The effects in this movie are awesome. It's just top notch in a lot of ways. One of my biggest complaints, and the story was really cool too. How it goes back to the creators and kind of the beginning of it all, and really focusing on Optimus, and then kind of getting into, and then also one of the biggest plot points is just there are no more Decepticons or Autobots to the humans, or to Lockdown, the mercenary robot. You know, he's basically just like sent by the creators to kill them all, or well, to take Optimus, but to get rid of all the Autobots and Decepticons because they're tired of the warfare, they're tired of the drama, and they're tired of their race going extinct because of these two sects that they've created themselves, with the Decepticons and the Autobots just killing each other, and it's just annoying for them. So I thought that was really cool and unique that they added that in there. The action and the special effects are obviously the best in this one. I think the reason this one isn't number 1 for me, because of the climax, like the whole final battle, it drags at points. And that's not to say it's not awesome or like visually entertaining, because it is. Oh my god, it is. But it's just so long. The final climax is just like, you know, piece after piece after piece after piece, and it's like, we get it. It's kind of hard after a while to stay really stay involved in it, because it's kind of all over the place at the end. But Optimus and Lockdown fighting at the end is badass, so that makes up for it. But yeah, awesome movie. I would give this a 4.5 out of 5. You know, I really, really dug this movie. And then my favorite, and this seems to be a sentiment with a lot of people, is Dark of the Moon. This is the third one. This one is the most well acted. I think it has the best action. I think that the climax in this movie is incredible. To see the way that Chicago goes up in shambles, it's fucking insane. Excuse my language, but it really, really is. The ending of this movie is incredible. The story is really good. It goes back to the moon landing, and it goes back to, you know, like U.S. and Russian cover-ups and working together in that sense. And hold on, I got some people walking past my car. I'm gonna try to freak them out. Never mind, they're not looking at me. That's right. Get out of here, kids. Run home. Anyway, it goes back to that. It goes back to the kind of our nation's history, our and world history, really, and this gigantic cover-up. And Optimus finds out, and the Autobots find out, and then it becomes a race in their minds to get to the moon and get the arcs and stuff. But in reality, it was a trap all along, because Sentinel Prime, spoiler alert, was basically, he's in cahoots with the Decepticons. They wanted the Autobots to go retrieve Sentinel, bring Sentinel back to life, so then Sentinel, Megatron, and the Decepticons could bring Cybertron to Earth. So I think that the twist in the story is awesome. I think the story is the best in this one. And quite frankly, I think that the acting is the best, and the final sequence is the best. So, and his girlfriend in this one is a lot more tolerable than Megan Fox in the second one. I couldn't stand her in the second one. So I would definitely say the girlfriend aspect is better in this one than in the second one too. So that's an upgrade from the previous movie. And it was kind of sad to say goodbye to Shia LaBeouf after the third one. But Mark Wahlberg did a great job in the fourth one, in my opinion. But yeah, my favorite one, Dark of the Moon. If you haven't seen them, or if you like stopped watching after the first or the second one and you were like, I don't want to see any of these movies, I promise you that Dark of the Moon is way better than the first two movies. I mean, it really, really is. So if you haven't given this movie a chance yet, give it a chance, because I really do think this is a good movie. And a lot of people say, oh, Michael Bay is just all about explosions and blah, blah, blah. I mean, be that as it may, it's gigantic robots blowing shit up and fighting in cities. Like, come on. Explosions are going to be aplenty in a movie like that. So yeah, that's the Transformers series, guys. So my least favorite is the first one. Then the second one is number 3 for me. Then Age of Extinction is number 2. And Dark of the Moon is number 1. Let me know in the comments, what you guys think of the movies. Which ones were your favorite and your least favorite. Comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I really look forward to seeing Transformers The Last Night in June. And I will be doing a review video for that once I watch that. So thanks, guys, for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time out to watch a video that is not really what I normally do on my channel. And Coasters R Beast 09 signing off from my car. First time for everything.